Hi, my name is Benedetto, Ben for short. This is the second in the series of videos detailing my fight against organised crime and how they are targeting me so that they can steal my home, make me homeless and ultimately kill me. To place all the facts into perspective, I need to regress to the year 2000 where all this commenced. At that time I was working on a master's degree, looking into the seismic responsive structures to earthquakes. At that time I also was looking for work. I was getting to the end of the masters and needed to write up the thesis and required money. I'd heard of a position at the Carlton construction company called Banco Constructions, and I phoned and got an interview to see the CEO on a Friday afternoon. I arrived for the interview in a suit, but was very nervous. This was my first interview with an engineering firm as an engineer, and I was nervous about going for the interview. The CEO, I had a conversation about construction and the work that I'd been doing on the master's degree, which included the modelling and the manufacturing of the apparatus for the experiments, the data acquisition system that I was using, and the programs that I'd written for data acquisition, data filtering and data analysis. At the end of the interview, after I had a look around the offices, I was told that I needed to wait for the construction manager to get back so that I could have a talk to him as well, as he was on site. I went around the corner to the coffee shop and had a coffee, an espresso. Returned to the offices and I had a short conversation with the construction manager. It was then that I discovered that I needed to attend an interview with an engineering firm in Hawthorn. Hopefully, I thought was to get an engineering position with them, as they had been in working for the construction company in Carlton. I left the interview with the intent of attending the appointment at the engineering firm in Hawthorn and hopefully gain employment as an engineer. It was during the interval between the Friday afternoon interview and the appointment with the engineering firm in Hawthorn that a friend of mine phoned and said that this company that I'd gone for the interview with was connected to the mob. They had ties to the Carlton families. I wasn't going to work for the mob, so I phoned the Hawthorn engineering firm and cancelled the appointment. The Carlton families discovered that I wasn't and didn't want to work for them. And a decree was stated that I was to be blackbanned and wasn't allowed to work as an engineer, civil or structural, in Victoria. And I'm pretty sure that they included Australia as well, because I went for work in other states and was unsuccessful there as well. Now, in one act, the mafia had made my 8 years' worth of work, 5 years of an undergraduate degree and 3 years of a postgraduate degree, worthless. The shitstorm that resulted from this one interview had me running away to Europe so that I could let it settle down. My mum accompanied me overseas, putting her life in great risk. As I remember the step-sibling amazed that she was going to go with me on this trip to Europe. I remember one conversation at Heathrow Airport on the way over to Europe, where she stated that she would stand in front of me and behind me simultaneously so that no harm would come to me. I am of Italian descent, but that doesn't mean that I'm some part of a mafia faction. I'm much more of an academic, enjoying the research and design of unique solutions for engineering problems. I employ engineering principles that I have learnt through my years of study to attain these solutions. We remained in Europe for 3 months and then returned to Australia. And the 3 months in Europe were unforgettable. When we arrived home in Melbourne, I moved back to live with Mum. The threat from the Carlton mob was tangible, and Mum wanted me at home. She also had had a fall and needed help and care. So I moved home. Once I moved home, the internet connection that we had at home went down. And for the next 3 years, yes, 3 years, I had no internet connection due to the fact that the mob had said that I wasn't allowed one. I finally did get a cable connection, but that cost me an astounding amount of money. And that was, as I said, 3 years after the fact that when it first went down. I think that'll be enough for this episode. I'm sure there's going to be other ones. This is only just a start. This is only just a start of what happened after we got back from Europe. I'll sign off now and record some additional episodes later.